Hey there, beloved, it's Jyoti. I just wanted to share with you some things that I was sitting down and just writing about this morning. So I'm going to look at my notes if I can actually read them because it just felt like it was so important to share just another little nuance and shade on why our lives might be the way that they are at this moment in time. Okay, so within this realm, we are constellation composite beings, multiple fractured pieces in the soul, which I call soul constellations. These are, at our essence level, we are absolutely unfathomably, this purified, amazing essence of absolute unconditional love and wholeness. Now, at the human level, in this incarnation, we are these composite constellation beings because those are the programs in the soul. And we had to choose a soul and embody through a soul because a soul is actually like a blueprint, like a template that the light of your spirit shines through this template of your soul. And the purpose of the soul and why we have to choose a soul to incarnate through in order to generate a body and a body of experience is so that we can actually evolve and free the fractured pieces of what has come before in life, in this form, in this realm. So we have these souls that carry these constellations, and these constellations are like fractured pieces, condensed energy of fractured pieces. So say, you experience like a major wound or traumatic experience or your ancestors did. Those parts, especially depending on what time of your development these things happened, they crystallize and are held as a program. Okay, so and they're really intense like really condensed balls of light. And the reason that they look like they're light is because they have so much energy inside of them that they're just like, so intense vibrating. And you can't just clear one of those. So if you go in and pop that open and look at it, which by the way I don't recommend doing because that's really challenging and very traumatic for you in your physical and emotional being right now. But if you just find one piece of that constellation, which in and of itself, when it pops open, there's a whole bunch of other pieces to it, and that's why I say we are composite, constellation beings because all of these little pieces go everywhere, and it's so this one piece is part of a larger constellation, and not all of the pieces come together at once to reveal themselves. So if we go and collapse this one and we open it up and then see where the constellation is within that one, it's within the larger context of a larger group of constellations. And what these are is they're painful. They set the limit and tone of what you can experience in this life. They're fractured, wounded, traumatic experiences that are crystallized and grouped together and gathered within your soul. And there's sometimes, in each one that you open up, sometimes there's hundreds, sometimes there's 50, sometimes there's 1,000, sometimes there's multiple thousands that are just in one constellation. And they're more like, fragmented, fractured parts of your being that have been energized by a lot of emotion. And it's not necessarily your being, it's the soul of. It's so difficult to explain what this is because most people refer to the soul as who you are. But the soul is actually just a temporary sort of lens that also is a huge creative vortex of life. So as a spirit, this infinite being of love comes down through this soul to incarnate into this beauty. in reality, Earth was meant to be this beautiful oasis of absolute perfection. And some things happened that allowed all of these really intense experiences to happen on the planet, that allowed the souls to then, crystallize into these fractured blueprints. So what we have in our lives now is all of these experiences. And see, the thing about soul constellations is that you don't even know that you don't even know that you have them. You don't know what they're about. You don't know why. And it's not important to understand them. It's more important to access them and clear them. Now, the only way that I know of as a natural act of God to clear your soul constellations is a severely traumatic experience where you literally wake up and it obliterates a huge portion of your daily functioning reality lens that you view life with. Other than that, it's about allowing these soul constellations as we work together to be revealed and loved free. So that's the other domain, is love, like absolute, unconditional, full presence love with the absolute absence of fear. Because love and fear cannot coexist in the same space. And especially when we're talking about soul constellations, it requires this like supernatural act of love to allow them to open up and to allow them to be tracked and cleared. It's a supernatural act of love. It's not an act of working on something or a technique or a method or, you do this and then everything's okay. Because the domain that we're all manipulated and tricked by in this world, and not in a malicious way, but literally just from a way of ignorance, is that we believe that we can create and control our reality by the ways that we think. And yes, I want to validate that that is true within this particular spectrum. Now, this particular spectrum is generated and it is contained almost like in a cube from these fractured parts of your soul. So when we clear, so you can think positive thoughts and say affirmations and do all these things within your little box, and you will actually feel better. You'll actually feel like you're getting somewhere. You'll actually feel like you're moving somewhere. But see, this cube of experience from these, constellations, they actually are taking you on a larger destiny. So while you can have some level of control around how you experience these, it does not give you access to, if we clear that constellation that created this framework of your life, the framework of your life would be like this, and larger and more expansive and more free and more alive than you ever could have possibly imagined, because you are in another domain, freed from the limitations of those fractured parts of your soul. And the soul is asking us to come home to love and to free those constellations. And that's why we can only go so far in working on ourselves. And I recommend wholeheartedly and from the wholeness and essence of my being that we do everything that we can at whatever level that we're at, knowing that when you're brave enough to actually face the larger piece of what's limiting you that you don't even know that you don't know, that's when your life becomes an act of continuous flow of miracles. It's where The right response to every situation is innate within you because you are no longer limited to what you think you know or what you thought you knew or what you were trained in or what other people have taught you. You don't source solutions from researching what's already been done. You innovate, you allow the divine essence of who you really are, to flow through you. And all of those constellations that are cleared, now that gets to like expand out from you and create the most magnificent, unfathomable possibilities in your life. So, I just want to say this to you because I want you to know that you are so loved. And this love that I'm talking about when I say you are so loved, it's in essence, it's actually the real core essence of who you are. And it lives so powerfully in the center of your being. And it has the power, like as a seed, it has the power to, break free and grow through. And that's actually what allows the soul constellations to even be revealed in the first place. It's this act of supernatural love. And in order to get to that supernatural love, we need to be able to be in a space of absolute stillness and clarity of who we really are at this ever expanding infinite love. We are in this world fully grounded in this body and this being, but we're not of it. We don't source our solutions here. We ground into the Earth Mother and allow every bit of our energy, every bit of the life force energy that we have been given, we allow that to go down into the very core of the earth and heal the Earth Mother. We have such a symbiotic, beautiful relationship with this planet of love that we are on, who is here holding this space for us. And this space can't be held much longer with the way that things are unfolding. And that's why I'm saying this to you today, because so many things are changing. And what's required, what's needed, more necessary than anything else, is for you to be who you really are in this life, which is love, infinite, which is the source of solutions and effortless action and effortless being, effortless doing that generates and creates a new world. That's what we're waiting for. We're all waiting for you. And to you, it might not seem like you have much to offer or that you have this great expertise or whatever. None of that you can conceive of from your mind is real in this domain. This is about unfolding and allowing this amazing being that you are to come forward in spite of your mind, in spite of, and in harmony and dissonance with your mind. When it comes through, it rearranges the way that your mind processes reality. And you'll see, you'll know, you'll be, and life changes as a result of your presence, your being. And that, my love, is why you are here. And if you are ready to deep dive into these soul constellations, I am here for a limited time. I'm only going to be doing soul constellation work for a period of my life. I'm also raising my son who just turned 5 and my 15-year-old, and I have a lot of things happening in my world. So I invite you to say yes to the calling of your heart. In whatever way, your infinite spirit, whatever way that is moving you now. It's important to follow it and keep following it. There's no destination. It is all a journey. So take the steps on this journey, foot in front of the other, that allows you to be more than you ever thought possible, to experience more love than you ever thought possible in this human form. Yes, I send you my love and blessings.